Yo, what's going on, people? We're back right now. Yeah, Tipsy Talk, Wavy Wednesday, champagne and conversation, banter before bed. Again, don't forget for TJ Radio on all social media platforms. And yeah, I just want to say thanks to you, everyone. I know it's not a Wednesday, but as you know, next week's my birthday. I'm not going to be here, so I thought, you know what, let me treat everyone to a special New Year's and Christmas gift visit. But yeah, I'm very excited. Got a very, very special guest. Have to end the year strong.
I love that. Go on, continue.
No, 100%. I thought I'd give the people a good send off for the 2023.
Appreciate it.
Great guest.
Yes, appreciate you.
I don't know why she's called Auntie because I'm probably older than her. But
well, right, we can get into that.
Well, yeah, got Auntie Miriam here.
Woo! Thank you so much for having me, guys. Appreciate you.
Appreciate for coming, especially on a Friday.
Yes.
It's not usually a day we use this, but
I know, but I appreciate you for having me.
You're glowing.
Thank you. I mean,
you can tell us your secret
try.
on the air or off the air. You can tell us your secret, what makes you young. And
yeah, don't get it twisted. I know I'm young and all this auntie stuff, but where that kind of came from is people have always called me just an auntie, a mum, like all of that type of energy. Okay. And I'm like, you know what, I was someone that used to be like, no, whatever. And then when I started my channel and people and the audience started catching on, I was like, you know what, guys? You want me to be your auntie? That's fine. I'm in my golden years. How about that? And I flipped it. So now they're like, yeah, that's Auntie Miriam still. She's in her golden years. And
you got these young girls jealous of you now, right?
Well, no, I'm playing.
But the serious note, how are you though, mentally?
I'm good. The year has been crazy. I feel like, especially for someone that has been in the creative industry, in the public eye and stuff like that, I took a couple months out. I needed the break. I needed the mental break. I needed just to breathe for a little bit. But that recognition and doing that has let me maintain a good, solid mental health and a consistent, healthy mental state. So, alhamdulillah, we're good.
Okay, it's Friday as well. Okay,
yes,
then.
Sir.
But we would actually do Tipsy Talk. We like to go back in time.
Talk to me.
Where did it start from? So, what country is your family from
then? So I'm Algerian.
Okay.
Yeah, North Africa. Shout out to all my North Africans.
Zidane.
Huh?
Zidane.
Sudan is...
no, Zidane.
Oh, Zidane, yeah.
Yeah,
gosh.
Zidane. Yeah,
Zidane, that's like a national treasure. He's like a national treasure for us.
Nasri, I think, as well.
Yeah, Mahrez.
Benzema,
yeah.
Okay.
That's my peoples.
Does it upset you, though, they played for France, but not Algeria?
Do you know what? I had a long conversation with my dad about this a long time ago, yeah. And with football and the politics and funding and all these things, there's things that go behind it that make it a bit not as black and white. But I have, like, for example, during the World Cup, the fact that France won still stressed me out, even though people are like, oh, well, it's the African team basically anyways. Everyone's either from Algeria or Senegal or Sierra, whatever. And I'm like, yeah, I love that. But the white man is still taking it. So in my head, it's like, it's all good and well to do that. But like France, I don't know, France is a touchy subject with me because we only came out of colonization in the 60s. It wasn't that long ago. We were colonized for 134 years, which is like, 2-3 generations. So the trauma's still there. My granddad, he was a general in the war. He was captured in Marseille in the last 2 years and they tortured him. And he and his cellmate dug themselves out of the cell 2 or 3 days prior to us winning the revolution and gaining independence. So there's a lot of heritage there for me. There's a lot of like sensitivity and knowledge there for me because I know my heritage and I know what the colonizers did to my bloodline. So even though I'm not too far away, 2-3 like my granddad and my grandparents were raised in that. They were raised under colonization. So it's still there. It's not gone yet. Do you know what I mean?
What's some facts about Algeria that will surprise people?
It's the biggest country in Africa.
That's one of them. I had this argument with a guy at work. I said, no, it's South Africa. Algeria. No, it's South Africa.
It's Algeria.
I was quiet for the rest of the day.
Listen.
I didn't know that.
Algeria has the biggest land.
Okay.
What else is... Algeria is also 98% indigenous and then 2% other ethnic minorities. Okay. So a lot of people look at North Africans, especially because some people are fairer skinned, etc., etc., etc. Aside from colonization and dilution and whatever, people will still look at them like, oh, you're Arab because, you know, you're African, but you're Muslim and all this sort of stuff factors into it. But if you look at the statistics and you look at tribes and history of North Africa, you see, like, I'm indigenous and no one can take that away from me.
No,
do you get what I'm saying? Like, like there's things there that are very clear to, okay, this is your heritage and this is not your heritage. Because of how long we were under colonization, a lot of our history was taken away from us. It was burnt before lockdown. France had, in their museum, they had, I think it was 24 or 30 skeletons of Algerian soldiers that they had killed during the revolution, and we tried to get them back for years and years and years, and we only got them back during lockdown. And then, for example, there's a bridge in, I'm not sure if it's Paris or Marseille or Lille or somewhere in France, where after we won, people were given land in France and people were like education and stuff like that. So like my granddad, for example, he ended up going and studying over in Paris and et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. During that period of time, so what they did was they took in a lot of the Algerians and they put them in hoods, concentrated hoods, very big poor areas. And for years, I think it was for 2.5 years, on a Friday night, big police bully vans would basically go to the hoods and they take all the men and the young boys and they chain them. This was recent, like in the 70s, like it's not too long ago, 70s, 80s. They chain them and they attach weights and they drive them to this river and they throw them over and let them drown. Until this day, you can go and see it. Anyone, if you're in France or whatever, do your research. Obviously, I haven't given you an accurate location, but it's still there and it's carved in and it says, this is where we threw the Algerians to die, like to drown. So there's a lot, like Algeria has a lot of rich history. We've stood on our own throughout everything. And we're very proud of that. That's why we're quite patriotic people. So I'm like, you're so hot-headed. No, I'm passionate. Do you get me? I'm passionate because I'm like, when you hear a story, even if it's a minimal scale, if it's a one-person story, and you hear about someone struggling for years and years and years, and they come out of it themselves, it hits different. Rather than hearing, okay, this person helped X, Y, and Z, you come out of it. That's the same with countries, it's the same with wars, it's the same with culture, it's the same with, when you stand alone, there's a difference to like you overcoming all these things and having the help and being more, feeling like the world is your community. Algerians don't really have that.
Does your family have animosity towards French people now? Because they don't know nothing. Towards what they've done to your grandfather and your relatives before?
Yes and no. I would say my parents are better at it than I am because they were both born and raised in Algeria. They both came here independently. Like, they met here.
Yeah, why England, though? Why did your parents come to England?
Because France has nothing for you, like, as an Algerian. So, in the West, in, like, America and the UK and stuff, the typical standard racism that we hear about is the black and white or the Asian community or whatever. You go to France, you go to anywhere where countries are colonized by the French, you are your target. So, Algerians over there, the racism that they face is ridiculous. Like, it's ridiculous. Like, the police brutality, like, a couple of months ago, a kid, he was, I believe, 12, he was shot by police and riots happened and all this stuff happened in France, a young Algerian kid. And, the racism over there is a bit different. Even I have an aunt and family that live out there and she's a teacher. When she first got a job role, you know, they give her a little admin login or whatever, and the password that they gave her was a derogatory term.
Seriously?
Yeah. So in France, they have an N-word equivalent for Algerians, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Right?
I just want to, can you say it on the air? Or do you feel comfortable or don't say it?
Yeah, I don't want to give it too much. Do you understand?
Yeah,
but
okay,
it's like, because I don't
okay.
really, it's not about the word or the terminology. It's the fact that you have to...
No, because I'm surprised because, again, I've never heard like Algerians facing such backlash like this, isn't it? Because I just know Algerians people low. There's just low profile people kind of just want to get the money. But I'm surprised. So I'm shocked, isn't it?
No, I guess it's where you are. Like in the UK, we're not a massive community. Like you have little pockets and whatnot. But it's not massive. We're not the major minority. Okay. But you go to France, we're the major minority. You'll see us and like people from Ivory Coast and like Senegal. Like that's why they're stuck together. That's why they're so strong in France together, because there's a difference, I feel like, especially even here, if we even get into that conversation, like, I feel like in France, if someone targets someone, it's an issue for everyone, if that makes sense. Yeah. Like, for example, someone in Algeria has a bit of racism, someone says something to them or whatever, everyone comes together. And I feel like we lack that here. I feel like here we have a selective defense mechanism towards community, if that makes sense.
Yeah, no, I understand.
Like, but yeah, I don't know, like, France is a weird one. Every time I've been there a couple times. Every time I go, I argue. It's not really like.
I went to France, but I was too young. But my friends told me like France, like their ghetto is ghetto.
Yeah, their ghetto is ghetto.
Ghetto, innit?
Because they put all of us in there, and they leave you with nothing.
And he said
really leave
there's
you
like,
nothing.
the opportunity is just limited, limited.
It's ridiculous. Like the screening to get through any type of work and censorship and stuff over there it's tight.
Okay,
it's crazy.
Then. So how was you growing up in your house? Was it like, okay, was it jolly then? Like, do you have a good childhood?
Yeah. Well, you know, I grew up in a 2-parent household.
Okay.
I don't have a 2-parent household anymore. So that can give you a bit of insight in terms of that journey. One thing, I actually had a conversation with a good friend of mine about this yesterday. And we were talking about upbringing and like sensitivity and like the generation that we're in now. And I think any child that goes through any sort of hardship or whatever growing up, whether it's due to circumstances, poverty, parents, whatever, you're going to take it to heart as a child, because in your head, your parent is a superhero. Like there's nothing above them. Like you don't even see them as a human being to a degree. Do you know what I mean? It's just more like, that's my mom, that's my dad, like da-da-da-da-da. And with me, I saw a lot growing up. I had to be in and around different environments growing up just due to circumstances, etc., etc., etc. But one thing I'll take away from upbringing in general is that you get to a point in life where you got to make a decision in terms of who do you want in your life and who do you not want in your life. And when you want these people in your life, how do you want them in your life? For example, I have 2 different relationships with both my parents, completely different. I don't treat my mum the way I treat my dad and vice versa, because my mum and my dad don't think the same. So they're not wired the same, they don't think the same. I can't communicate with them the same way. Why? Because it won't reach. And communication was an issue in our household. So I grew up learning, okay, cool, this triggers him. I'm not gonna speak in this tone when I try to get a message across. Okay, cool. My mum might be a bit like hot-headed or a bit impulsive or whatever. Cool. You let her ride it out, you do this and that and the other. And then you start speaking to them as human beings. I'll be like, look, this is what it is. This is how I felt. This is my responsibilities at the age. Let's talk about it. And you get to that point, and I think for me, it's very easy to walk away for anybody and everyone. And, you know, I grew up in East London.
Whereabouts in East, if you don't mind asking?
I was born in Manor Park. We moved 5 times. Council moved us 5 times.
Okay.
So I'm proper East London, like proper East London. I lived in Manor Park, and then we went to East Ham for a little bit.
Okay.
And then most of my childhood was in Leighton.
Okay.
Yeah, so Leighton's,
that's
my strip.
Yeah. Okay.
And a little bit of Hackney, and then I ended up where I'm at now in Chingford. So just all over, and experiencing different environments and stuff like that as well, growing up in extreme poverty and then going and living in an area that's mainly Caucasian and there's no minorities, and you stick out like a sore thumb, and it's like, oh.
That's what I'm saying. Like, you as a Muslim family,
Yeah.
was racism bad for you?
Yeah. There was, I can give you 2 stories. I'll give you the first time I ever got into a fight.
Pretty people don't fight, so I'm
Listen, they make you fight when you're a minority. Let me tell you, when you're a Muslim woman out here.
Girls fighting. I don't like it.
I was young, and it was I'll give you the story.
Yeah.
I was in year 8? Yeah.
Okay.
I was in year 8. I was living my best life.
Question, yeah, like,
gone.
Was your family strict Muslim? Like, were you covered, like, headscarf, everything?
No, I wouldn't say that. So I don't come from a strict Muslim household. I come from a practicing household.
Okay.
Before going into secondary school, like, my parents did have a sit down with me and was like, look, like, you're going to get older. Like, we want to protect you from X, Y, and Z. Like, we would want for you to wear a scarf. So for me, covering my hair was off the back of that conversation. And then there was a lot of knowledge and growth that was put into that. But there was never any force or any, like, negative emphasis on, you need to do this just because, or you need to do this, or no. Like, I'm grateful that I don't come from a household like that. I come from a household where we question everything.
Oh, is it?
Yeah,
okay.
We question everything. We make our own decisions. Even if it's not supported, we talk it out, because I don't like to just sit and not have an answer, or just, do you know what I mean? I don't like to follow blindly. I've never been raised to be that way.
And again, before the fight, so Monday to Friday was school.
Yeah.
And then Friday you had to go to mosque as well?
No. So when I was younger, I went to a Saturday school.
Okay.
It was an Algerian Saturday school in Walthamstow, actually.
What time was that?
It was like What, like,
The actual time, like
I think it was around like from 10 till 12 or something.
just the little freedom. Yeah.
It was it was like in one of those colleges that you'd have on the weekend, and you go take a class or something, and then you might have a little lunch break, go do another class, and that's it. But I grew up dyslexic, so I found out I was dyslexic later on down the line.
Okay.
So I already struggled in English, let alone in Arabic. And a lot of people don't know the difficulty of the Arabic language, like especially if you're learning it for the purpose of faith, because the Arabic language in faith is different to the Arabic language in dialogue, if that makes sense. So
to a certain extent, because I just go and play go marhaba.
Like marhaba, like that's not like that's dialogue. That's so that's a dialect of Arabic.
Okay then.
But like marhaba is assalamu alaikum. So that's the Islamic Arabic of like marhaba. Do you get what I'm saying? It's the same thing. It's just a matter of dialect and
haram.
Like haram is an Arabic word, but it's an Islamic term.
Okay then.
Do you get what I'm saying?
Yeah, okay.
So cool. Went to the Saturday school, struggled.
Did your parents put pressure on you because you were struggling?
They didn't understand because, so what had happened was, the way they tested me, I've always known like the alphabet. Like I've just memorized the alphabet off by heart. Like that didn't mean I could read, didn't mean I could write, didn't mean any of that. Do you get me? So I walked in, I took my little test. They were like, oh, just read the alphabet. I was like, cool, I'm doing my thing. They put me in a class that was way above my, way above my grades. You get me? Cool. Yes. I remember this one time, when I was young, I was a lot more hot-headed, a lot more quick to react, So if I felt like I was being pressured or I was going to be embarrassed or anything like that, you know when you're young, it's like, oh, how dare you, your pride is screaming. Yeah. Cool. We're going around the class now. What they used to do is like, they'd go around and everyone would read a sentence or like whatever. Right. Yeah. So it's my turn now. And they make you stand up. I'm standing there and I'm just not reading. I'm like, no, I'm not doing it, because they knew that I struggled. And then off the back of that, it just ended up being a thing, and I ended up getting kicked out. And and then they tried. Bless my parents. Like they really tried. They put me in a mosque a couple years later. It was Tuesdays and Thursdays after school, from 4:30 to 5:30, to do like Quran studies and stuff. And that didn't really work out either, but that was just environment and people and silliness that shouldn't affect you when you're studying. But when you're young and whatever, you get into it with people and it just,
Me, growing up, my parents never had the race talk with me.
Okay.
I just wonder, did your parents have the race talk with yourself?
Yeah.
Is it? Yeah. What age, if you can remember?
Like primary school. Like, I remember being in maybe a 5 or 6, a couple of years before like secondary school. And my parents they always say it to me, and they will forever say it to me. They're like, Miriam, this is not your country. This is not your country, and these people will never see you how they see each other, and don't ever think that they will accept you, because you are not like them. And like, because my parents they taught me a lot growing up. They were like, listen, like when you don't look like someone, when you don't like follow what else someone else is following, or you don't have the same opinions as somebody, it's going to be an issue, and you're going to face this, this, and this. And they had that conversation with me, and I'll forever appreciate it, because I remember one time my sister was getting picked on, and my dad was like, someone hits you, hit them. If someone hits you, hit them, because they will look at you, they already see you as less than, or they already see you as different. And if they think that they can walk all over you on top of that, there's nothing left for you. And it was character building.
But I'm kind of confused, because the Quran teaches you to be peaceful though.
Yeah, but that doesn't mean, but okay, so what's your question?
Like, the Quran teaches you to be peaceful, and someone hits you. Well, the Bible says turn the other cheek, isn't it? That's what the Bible says. I don't know if it's the Quran, isn't it?
Yeah, but
might say something
the
different.
Quran isn't. It's not okay. Islam is peaceful. Yeah. It's a peaceful faith. It's not. But it doesn't mean that someone's gonna come and attack you and you sit there and let that happen. That's not faith. Because you need to have faith in God. That like faith ultimately, especially Abrahamic faiths, the consistency of Black practice is to preserve life to a degree. Yeah? That's why we're big on like producing, etc., and like no sex before marriage, etc., to preserve life and to right. But this is the concept, right? To preserve life and produce life, etc. So if you're being targeted, or you're going like someone's beating you down or whatever, like you fight, you stand up for yourself, and that's a just thing to do. It's self-defense.
Okay,
and there's no issue with that. it's
No,
all on. Do you understand? If I'm just out now chasing people, that's something else. Do you get me? But you know, if you hit me, I'm gonna hit you back.
I'm just curious.
Yeah.
I'm just curious.
Of
So you
course,
took that fighting. You said you had 2 fights. The first fight.
Yeah, the first fight was in the first night. Did I say 2 fights?
You said you had 2 fights.
Oh no, I said I had 2 stories to tell you about the racism stuff.
Okay.
So the first one was in school. Like I said, I was in year 8. I was in my Spanish block. There were a couple girls. They were 2 years older than me or whatever. They were older. Didn't know them. You know how it is in secondary school. You don't really mix. Whatever. Cool. I'm going up the stairs. They're coming down the stairs, and I've always kind of gotten weird energy from them. They'll look at me. They'll, you know, like the little stares and the comments, and I just didn't really care. Cool. I'm walking now. I walk past her. I promise you, within 3 seconds, all I feel is her hand on my head.
Oh.
I said, I'm not the one. Oh. Bearing in mind, I have no discipline, no fighting, nothing. I was just a little hot-headed kid that tried to keep it respectful, but...
In your household...
Yeah.
Was you not watching, like, Western stuff, like Western TV, like Fresh Prince of Bel-Air or hip-hop music? Like, okay,
my parents watched that though.
No, that's where this question's coming from now, isn't it?
Okay, because you need to understand, even though like we're raised here, like even bun that, my parents were born and raised back home, but they watched all of that because they had American TV.
Okay,
do you understand? American TV is damn near international, so.
No, because my friend, his parents just strictly was Asian things, on the Asian channels, Asian.
Is it?
But he's my generation, so he was to Pokemon in it, but his parents were old in it, so it was old school kind of thing in it.
Yeah.
So that's what to know if it's the
same. I think it's because my parents grew up and stuff like that anyway, so it just kind of translated.
Okay,
but we did watch Algerian. Don't ever get it twisted. Let me tell you something about Algerian sitcoms. Yeah, they ain't got nothing on the West. Let me tell you what.
What's the number one sitcom in Algeria?
Oh, let me tell you the best one that I grew up on. It's a national treasure in my eyes. Do you understand? It's called Jemai Family. Jemai is like a last name. It's DJEMIA. Jemai Family.
What's it about? It's like EastEnders or what?
It's like a family setting, right? So it's about this dad who there's a housewife, and it's a sitcom.
Okay.
And he's got a doctor as a daughter, and the eldest son doesn't work. He just sleeps, and he's like one of those like philosophical, like unemployed, like type of guys.
Yeah.
And then he's got the doctor that works, and he's got 2 younger siblings, and the dad is a taxi driver. And it just goes about his day, and then every day like something happens, and his neighbors want to drive, and it's just hilarious. And his role is so iconic, like Jemai Family, man. And let me tell you, that really solidified a lot of stuff for me. Yeah. It's good. It's a good show. Proper family friendly. Proper like one of those shows that you look back on and you're like, oh, that was my childhood. Yeah, like.
So what? You fought the girl. Who got in trouble and who didn't get into trouble?
Of course, I got in trouble and she didn't get in trouble. Of course, she got a little. We had like our sit downs and stuff, whatever. I think I was put on report, I believe, and she got let off the back of that, and I was just like, that's fine. But the second thing that I wanted to tell you about was something that happened years ago. My mum is obviously a Muslim woman. She covers. She covers the way I cover.
Okay.
So like she's not fully covered, but she covers her hair. She'll be in her little trackies, whatever. Like you can. Whatever.
Okay then.
Cool. Years and years ago, she went to pick up my brother from primary school. We had just moved to Chingford, and at the time that we moved in, there was literally no other minorities like in our vicinity. We were the only type of minorities in the block. The people above us were council. Do you understand? Like they worked for it was very techie times. Cool. Growing up like in Leighton and experiencing that side of the world in the streets or whatever you want to call it, I've always been a bit, not paranoid, but alert. So I'm like, cool, we're in this area. I kind of get iffy vibes already just by being here, whatever. I started covering my hair at the age of 12. So my whole time being there, I've worn a scarf. She's gone and picked him up. She's on her way back now, and a couple stopped before us. There's a pub. She must have just gone out and she must have just got off to get some stuff or whatever. They had, I don't know exactly the whole story because I wasn't there, but they had their little plant pots at the pubs with the pebbles and stuff. They started dashing pebbles at my mum and my brother. My brother must have been like 5. Do you know what I mean? She came home feeling a type of way. I left the house with a baseball bat.
You went to the pub?
I went there. I was like, I'll never forget it because when it comes to family, I don't care.
Don't
I
play.
don't play.
Don't play.
My mum and my youngest sibling,
don't play.
you must be out of your minds. I went there with my little baseball bat. I just went there and screamed, and I swung and broke the plant pot.
Is it?
Yeah, and I cussed them all out. Like, do you mean?
Yeah, of course, man.
Yeah, racism and all this stuff is just.
Whereabouts in London are the most Algerians mostly at, or they just scattered mostly?
Finsbury Park,
Okay.
Walthamstow, Brixton has a
Okay.
big like Algerian community as well. Yeah, we're about Finsbury Park. I'd say like most concentrated. That's kind of like where the link up spot is and where everyone goes. And you don't catch me there, but
Okay then. So what's college like for you then? Do you go to college?
yeah, I went sixth form.
Okay.
I stayed at the sixth.
Oh, you stayed at the
Yeah, I
sixth?
stayed there. You know why? You know why? Because I was terrible. I'm not gonna lie. Not that I was madly misbehaving or anything like that. I was very blasé about school. I did my work. I got my grades. I did all the extra work. Whatever. I've always had that mentality of as long as what needs to be done gets done, we're cool. So my attendance was appalling. Like I'd walk in halfway through. Like I didn't take school serious because I thought, you know what, like if I need to be there for this lesson because I don't understand X, Y, and Z in order to get my work done, I'll do it. That was my mentality.
What is it that you want to be though? Like in terms of
So when I was in school, I always wanted to be creative. Initially, it was kind of a battle between, which is quite ironic that I say that now, but it was a battle between going into some form of politics and film.
Okay.
Ended up going down the film route.
Okay.
Because I feel like if I ever went into politics, I will get shot. So, and that's what everyone said to me. They were like, Miriam, like, what? My mom said that to me. My friends, they were like, Miriam, you're not doing this career. They were like, this ain't for you still. Because I just, go on.
Do you have an Asian Prime Minister?
Yeah.
Do you have an Asian mayor of London?
Yeah. We love to see it.
I think the Scottish the Scottish person's Asian as well, I think, as well.
Yeah, but the day we have a hijabi as Prime Minister, that is the day that I'll be like, alright, cool, because that will never happen.
You never know, you know.
Listen, unless it's...
No, because London, yeah, like...
Listen, let me tell you, unless it's... I'm going to be very blunt and black and
keep
white.
Keep
right.
Keep it 1,000.
Unless it's a white revert or it's an Asian that has been here, like bloodline generation, like they're a bit more English influenced. Calm. Because that's political.
No, because again, a lot of my Asian friends, they don't really like Siddiq. I mean...
Rishi
Sunak. They don't like him, yeah.
So it's like,
yeah.
All right, it's because especially as minorities, yes, it's lit for us to see people of color and people that look like us or could relate to us or whatever be up there and represent in the land that we're in, right? But I feel like a lot of people when they go to vote and think about these things, that's all we think about now. We're like, we want someone that looks like us that's going to represent us. How are you going to guarantee that? Because I've met plenty of people that look like all of us, and they don't think like us, they don't walk like us, they don't live like us, and that's fine. It's got nothing to do with anything. But if you want what's right for you and the people, then vote for that properly. Like,
have you or your family members heard that saying why don't you go back to your own country?
Yeah.
What's your response to that?
I'm like, take me. Take me. You think I want to be here? Take me home. I don't want to be here. My country's hot. I can live off of agriculture. Like I'm good back home. Let me go.
Was there a lot of opportunities though in Algeria? Though?
No, not at all. Not at all. Otherwise, we wouldn't be here.
Yeah.
Evidently, like the story of like my dad's coming here was he used to be a printer, so he used to work in factories and print like newspapers and stuff like that. Obviously, he was raised post-war, and post-war, Algeria ended up having a civil war between each other, like government and people and whatever. About 2-3 years, bought an apartment.
Okay.
That year, they shut down the company, and the army took over that road or that area that he was in, took the apartment, no payment, no nothing. My dad used to be, so he was an athlete, he used to run for Algeria and do rowing and stuff.
Oh, is it?
Yeah. So his way here was he went and did a competition, and he was accepted to do a competition in Marseille for rowing. Won the competition, stayed there, and then, did what he needed to do passport-wise, and then came to the UK.
Okay.
Yeah, my parents were never on staying in France.
what's the conversion like for like if I got £10 in England, London money? What can I get in Algeria for that?
So a sheet of 1,000 dinar would be like £8, £10. That could I'll put it in wages.
Okay.
So the average man or the average wage in Algeria is anything between 2 to 4,000. So if 1,000 is about £8 to £10, that's what, like £40, £50, and they live off of that.
Serious?
Yeah, but just because, like, when I go on holiday, when I go back home as much as I can every year, all the time. I go on my own. I've been going on my own since I was 16. I love my country. I'll go wherever. Cool. I'll take about £300 with me. £300 is about almost 10 grand in dinar, and that could like suffice someone's year. So the quantity exchange is good, like, because the value of money in Algeria is low, but you can get a lot for your money.
Because what I would love to see you do, if you could do like a youth project where you like take like 5 kids in it and take them to Algeria and see the life and say
100%.
See how privileged you are in London, and you got these kids waking up early in the morning, hustling back at night time. So I would love to see that.
Defo. I plan on opening a school back home.
Okay.
So when I do that, I'm going to do trips. And Algeria is a bit tricky to get into. If you don't have a nationality or a passport, you have to be approved or invited, basically, by someone that has a nationality.
So if I went to Algeria, I'll go get it by myself?
No, you can't just go and just...
Even though I can try to bribe a little, like, £100.
Like, if you came to me and was like, Miriam, I want to go to Algeria, like, can you just write me a letter to be like, this person is invited to this country? Because after France, what happened is they locked off all the borders because no one wanted to help us, and France they really ruined our bloodline and our people. Do you know what I mean? Like, we went through a lot with that country, like 134 years. Like, Morocco wasn't colonized by France for that long. But it's because other countries stepped in and whatever, etc. And then also on top of that, once we were once we won, Egypt and Morocco wanted to govern Algeria a couple years later, and we were like, we just fought a whole revolution with the white man, and you're supposed to be cousins or brothers, and now you want to take over. Like, when you were quiet for 134 years. So that solidified us, like, locking off our borders completely. We're like, cool, we will feed our own if you're invited. Like, Algeria is welcome to everyone, and it's not hard. Like, when I say it's locked off, you just need an invitation. You go to the consulate, they stamp it, you approve it. It's not hard. Like for England, they have like a rivalry like with Scotland, France, Wales. Who does like Algeria have a rivalry with? Like, if it's a friendly rivalry or anything like that? Morocco, Egypt, France. Friendly rivalries. France is like Morocco and Egypt is always going to be some silliness. It's like cousins. Like, you know when you have beef with your cousin over and you might not talk to that one cousin for a year over that beef, but it's just silly pettiness. Okay, then it's just. I hear that. Yeah, it's dumb. So sixth form was good then, yeah? Sixth form was alright. You know, I worked my whole career, I guess, my whole existence. I started working at 14. So from like 16 to about last year, I've always had 2-3 jobs through school, through uni, whatever. So that's also another reason why. What's your worst job? Oh gosh, Selfridges. Seriously? Yeah. Wow, I'm surprised. That was terrible. Well, you must have saw these multi-millionaire people. Terrible. I did, but you think I care about these multi-millionaires? I want to be them. I want to be a multi-millionaire. Why am I caring? Who's the most famous person you saw? Will Smith was there one time. Is it? Will Smith and his son. What's that white actor? He was in Schitt's Creek, the gay son. Oh, no, I ain't seen that. Schitt's Creek is a good series. It's like a white family that end up going broke overnight and they stay in a motel but there's a gay son. I saw him, yeah. I don't know anyone by name either, I'm not gonna lie. I'll just start describing them to you. I'll be like, yeah, that one. I've seen a couple people in my life, but I've not I'm not that type of person to be starstruck. Or I've never been that type of either as well. I'll be like, oh hey. I'm like, I like selling perfumes then or what? I was a sales assistant in like a women's luxury gowns and stuff section. It was just horrible, like fast paced. People there were, I mean, obviously like Selfridges, if you ever want to sponsor me, don't ever get into it. Do you get what I'm saying? Like, I'll take it back. But until that day happens, until that time comes, it's I've worked in luxury retail before. It's fast paced, but people in Selfridges have that kind of demeanor of like, oh, I work here. Like, I work in Selfridges. Like, it's luxury. And just seeing, it's very much rat race. very much
You ever catch
like.
someone stealing?
I don't think I caught anyone stealing, but what they would do is when the season's over for the clothes or whatever, they would have like a crazy sale. And then on top of us, on top of that sale, we get an employee sale. So for example, people would be getting like Mugler, instead of buying it for £100 or whatever on sale, whatever, for a £300 top, they'll spend like £25.
Okay.
So they were there like doing their thing.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah,
I remember
yeah.
walking and I didn't pick anything out. I was like, guys, like, everyone's, scavenging through the boxes, like trying to find the last piece. And I was looking at them like, it's not that deep.
So what's your best job?
My best job was a freelance job, actually. And I went back into my primary school and taught sports to, fours and fives.
Okay. Then.
Yeah. So I was a sports leader. I did that for about a year. Really cool, really fun.
You like sports, yeah?
Yeah. I used to box and I teach boxing.
What, still now?
Yeah.
So you can beat me in Ivan up?
I mean, could. Do you get me? Linguistically, could. It's a possibility, but would I?
Fan?
I was growing up.
Oh, okay.
I was. I kind of like diverted away out of that. But,
Okay.
Yeah, boxing. I used to play basketball for under 14s for my brother. Swimming.
Why you stop, man?
Life, man. We're old. Well, we're old. Well, I'm getting older. Do you get? I'm getting older, and I'm experiencing the real world. And sometimes you gotta just prioritize. This year shifted a lot of my priorities.
What music would you listen to in them times?
What, growing up?
Yeah.
Oh, I listened to a lot of like, till this day actually, but that time I was more of a Lauryn Hill.
Okay.
Kind of, I used to listen to a lot of G Unit, which.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
That's my
Oh, is it? Wow.
Yeah. Young Boy's my favorite.
Yeah. G Unit, 15.
Hey.
That was my vibe. Yeah, I was very into like the old school hip hop. Till this day, to be honest, I don't know why I'm saying I was.
You was like playing in the house, like blasting it on your house.
Yeah, but I wasn't that type.
Oh, okay.
I wasn't like, I would sit in my room, have my little speaker playing, not blasting it out, like, because I was the type of person that would sing along and rap along. So I mean, I'm already loud. Do you get it? So
You ever try music yourself?
I used to make music years ago.
What's your name?
I didn't.
Yes.
Look, yeah. Once upon a time, very long ago, I used to sing. I was gonna get signed, and I sent it down.
Why?
Because music is fun. It's cute. I'm not an artist. I'm not here to be an artist. That's not my story. Like, I'm very much a director. Like, I'm more of a behind the scenes, like, let me make it work type thing. And like, I'll put my input in, I could put my skill set in, whatever. But for me to be that person, no.
Is there anyone in the music industry that's like got Algeria in them, but we don't know about?
Well, Mira May, she's Algerian.
Who?
Mira May.
Oh, is it?
Yeah, Mira May's Algerian.
Okay.
Yeah. Who else has got Algerian in the music industry? Potter Paper. He's half Algerian.
Oh, no, I didn't know he was Algerian.
Yeah,
okay.
his dad's Algerian. That
Does
might
he rap
be.
it though? Like, does he?
Yeah, he put it in his album.
Does he speak?
Yeah. He's
okay.
like, if you look back at some of his tracks and stuff, yeah, he's not shy about it. He says what it is.
Oh, no, I respect that, man.
Yeah,
I do respect that. Okay.
Yeah, a couple people.
Okay, then that's right. Then.
Yeah, we're here.
What about actors? Any actors that's
Like British born
or American or Hollywood? Anyone?
I don't know, man. Do you know what I would recommend though? I would recommend there was what is it called? When I remember, there's a film that came out on Netflix. Just to go back quickly on like the Algerian racism in France, and it's called. It's named after a Roman war thingy. When I find it, I'll send it to you.
Yeah.
But it's based on basically the storyline is based on a single mum and 4 brothers, and one of the brothers works with and around the police or whatever, and the police killed their younger brother. So they riot and the whole block gets locked off, and it's the police versus the people and da-da-da-da-da. And like the middle son is the one that's leading all this. But then the older brother is trying to stop it because he's in the police or whatever. And then he ends up, I'm not going to spoil it for everyone, but a lot happens. He ends up switching sides and family and all this stuff. But it really goes to show like this happens. And this is like, this happens all the time, but we just don't see it because Western media is very UK America. And even if you hear about, you know, you might hear about Germany and France and a bit of Belgium and but that's not on our screens. We don't see that. So
okay then.
Yeah, it's a good film. I'll find out the name for you and I'll send it over.
So what? When did men come into play for you then? Like boys?
Oh gosh.
Like who was your crush? I know you're the
growing up.
Yeah.
I had a couple still. Growing up, 50 was just one of them ones that I could like. Yeah, 50 Trey Songz. There was an era. There was a Trey Songz era. J. Cole will forever be my husband. That man is just sensational. Like I had a couple. Do you know what it is with me? I'm one of those crushes that I'll have a crush on you 1 second and then I'll look away and see someone else and I have a crush on them. Do you get me? So it was never really that serious. It was all just yeah. Oh, listen, men are scary. I remember the day I started realizing that men were infiltrating my life.
Well, I'm listening.
I was in PE. And we were doing trampolining and it was secondary school. And I was like in year maybe 9 or something. And I remember like everyone back, it was the era of, okay, everyone's like looking at each other's bodies now. Like everyone's kind of growing up and everyone's interested in boys and whatever. And I was cool with everyone in school. And I remember just like, we were just talking. One of these white girls came up to me like, Miriam, like, this person said X, Y, and Z, and like someone was like, apparently something went round because it was me and maybe 2 other Muslim girls, and they were like, oh, who's the prettiest like Muslim girl? And they were like, Miriam, and then just off the back of that, and then I started hearing these things and I started clocking the movements. So now I'll be walking out of classes and stuff, and the man them are wanting to walk and talk, and do you get me? Yes. And I used to be like, oh, you thought I don't know. I clocked onto a lot very early, but I don't take man serious.
What do you mean?
I never really was someone that took people too serious in terms of like, it's cute to have a little flirt, a bit of banter, whatever. But I'm not someone that you date, if you know what I mean.
So how do you know if a guy's serious then?
Because right now, currently, I'm at a point where it's like, cool, if you're serious, these are my intentions. Let me know your intentions are. I don't get involved with anyone without letting them know, listen, if I get involved with you, I expect a ring. Because I don't live this life of just girlfriend and boyfriend for 8, 9, 10 years and then whatever happens.
Well, how long the ring though? Not straight away though?
No, not straight away.
Oh, okay.
But I'm saying there needs to be an intention. So like, for example, say I start talking to you like beginning of the year. And then I say to you at the beginning of the year, like, I will date for the purpose of getting married. Or I'm dating you and I like this and this about you and do whatever, he says whatever. And I'm like, cool, like I expect to get married soon. Like when I say soon, I don't mean next month. It could be like a proposal within the year, or like even the intention of like, you maybe within the end of that year, you speak to the parents and be like, listen, I'm not where I need to be right now, but these are my intentions with your daughter. Stuff like that's important to me because I feel like for someone that really wants to be committed or chooses to be committed with whoever they're with, there shouldn't be a fear in that to say that you want to be committed. Does that make sense?
Yeah, of course.
Like, so stuff like that, like, is very important for me. Like, I don't do this whole just date today or go out and go for dinners and no. If you like me, you can marry me. So
what's your stance on arranged marriage?
I'm here for it.
You agree with it?
Yeah, I don't think it's an issue with arranged marriage. I think it's an issue with forced marriage, which is different. But an arrangement is an arrangement. Like, your brethren can arrange a marriage for you. It doesn't have to be a parent or someone that, like, I could fix you up with someone and be like, oh my God, I've met this person, Like, maybe they tick your boxes. You might end up dating this person, liking her. That was arranged. Same thing. Like, if I say to my mom all the time, I'm like, Mom, once I hit a certain age, you better start looking around. Look around! Because you see me, I'm not dying alone. I'm not doing that.
You could be a Catwoman.
What do you mean? No, honey, no. I come from a bloodline of families and kids and households. Like, I want to have a family. I want to have kids. I want to do all these things. You get what I'm saying? And if it just so happens that it's not my path for me to find that person on my own, then there's no issue with getting something arranged. An arranged marriage is off the premise of we put these 2 people together, they date. If it works, amazing. If it doesn't, we find something. what you want. Let's look at what they want, whatever. Like, I know you, so I would know what you attract, and etc. 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 I'm not just gonna bring you something based on paper, but yeah, and then it works or it doesn't.
Do you believe in soulmates?
Yeah. Well, yes and no.
Because I'm thinking, like, what if your soulmate's not Muslim?
That's fine. I believe in soulmates, but I don't think that all soulmates are romantic.
Okay.
So, like, there's a quote in the Quran that says, God has made you in pairs. Yeah. So, and it's the idea of balance and having a partnership and etc. 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 So it's clear for us, or whatever people of faith that believe in the book, that there is someone there for you. God hasn't created for you to just be out here alone. God has created you in pairs. But for me to say, oh, I believe in soulmates and this person is going to be the love of my life and yeah, but that could also be my best friend. Or it could be like, do you know what I mean? I don't think soulmates is strictly contained to romanticism, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Do you get me? I don't know. But I do believe there's someone out there for everyone. Whether it's your soulmate or not, it's a different question.
No, I believe it, because I don't think my soulmate's in UK, personally.
Is it?
Yeah.
I used to say that. I used to be like,
so.
my soulmate's not here. They're
No,
somewhere in America.
I don't think that's why I'm
Why?
always willing to travel.
But why?
Why?
Yeah.
Definitely not in London.
Yeah, but why?
London girls stuck up, man.
Yeah, but why? That's not a valid.
It's true though.
Okay, you could say a London girl is stuck up, but you're saying your soulmate isn't here.
Yeah.
So your soulmate could still be stuck up.
No, I'm a numbers guy, innit? So basically,
Okay.
they say there's 8 billion people in this world, yeah? So that means there's
Right.
4 billion females in it.
Right, more women than right.
Cool.
Yeah.
And London, there's 60 million people in it.
Right.
So 30 million females in it.
Okay.
So more likely, my soulmate's going to be outside of the UK, innit? Yeah,
Yes
because
and
there's more females. Yeah,
but if you're
it's true.
talking numbers, okay, cool. But there's more people in the world. But these people are coming from a life that you don't live, that you might not understand, and mentality, all these sort of things that are bigger barriers.
I'm a magnet, opposite attract.
Okay, that's fine, but mindsets are different. You can have opposite qualities, but if I have a different mindset to you, that's an issue.
I like to learn.
You seem like you're difficult. You're the stubborn
That's what
one.
I'm saying, yeah.
No, you're the
But you
stubborn
have to be
one.
stubborn these days. You have
Yeah, you have to be
because
stubborn.
marriage is like, look how much stories you hear about, like, Rob, the husband killed the wife or the wife killed the husband because they were not happy from the get-go, innit?
Yeah, but that's dumb. Like, I've always said to people, like, even my dad, he says it to me all the time. He says, Miriam, life is simple. Us as humans, we complicate it for each other. Big man thing. If I'm not marrying someone I'm not happy with.
Do you think life is simple?
I think we overcomplicate life. I think life has a path of simplicity to it, yeah. Life is simple. You grow, you learn, you work, you build your life, whatever, you build a family, We overcomplicate it when we start stepping out and doing things and bringing other people into the mix, and now everyone and their mum is involved in your business. For why?
Big fact.
That's not how that's not how human nature is. We're not out here to spread everything and everyone knows everything about your life, and
But as you know, we live in England, well, especially London. I see London as its own country, but we live in a capitalist environment, innit?
Yeah.
And I say number one is the number one thing in everything.
What do you mean? Number one is the number one thing in everything.
In the factor, like number one is the number one factor. Like forget love, happiness, money's the number one thing.
No, 100, yeah, money, 100%. Because money provides security. And security is what most women want anyways. And if you can provide that as a man.
100%, yeah.
Yeah, I hear that. I'm with that. That's what I'm saying. Listen, if I get to a certain age in my life, listen, money can do some things in this life, okay? And
a lot of things.
It could do a lot of things in this life. And one thing I would say to people is get your money up. Focus on your P's. You can go and do relationships and date and whatever. Invest your time in something that's going to make you money. Because, especially as a woman.
Can you be with someone that makes less than you then?
Yeah, I could.
Seriously?
Yeah, I could. I wouldn't want to be though.
But can you still look at me as a man though?
Yes, but it's not. But okay, so I could, but I wouldn't. Does that make sense?
No.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm tipsy right now.
So my thing is like, cool. I'm with someone. Say they're not in the public eye. They don't do. They're a 9 to 5 or whatever. Their wages are somewhat capped unless they get a raise or whatever. Cool. I might blow the next day
Big
and
facts.
now make 2-3 times the amount as you. It shouldn't mean anything because I've chosen this path. If I worked a 9 to 5 and I was a bit more maybe traditional in that sense and wasn't out here or whatever, I wouldn't want that and I wouldn't accept it because I'm not out here doing the most, or I don't have these big aspirations and big dreams for myself or whatever it may be. I need someone that wants more than me and like does more than me. And when I say that, I don't mean you need to do a million things, but I mean work ethic. Like I need you to be, because I'm like that. I'll work 12, 14, 15, 16 hours, no complaints, no nothing, if it's feeding what I want or it's pouring into like my passions and stuff. Do you know what I mean? So when it comes to a man, if it's a financial thing where like you're on that wave but you're not making as much, it's not an issue for me. But if I was working a 9 to 5 and I'm still making, because listen, if I want to have kids now and stay at home, now what? How we living? How we living? Like, you need to consider these things, and especially in the times that we like live in now, we want to talk about all these roles and man and woman and babes, economy. Do you get me? Bills are going up. I don't care about man and woman and tradition, and we all need to work.
Big facts.
Everybody needs to work. Unless you're a millionaire, like there's no conversation around that. But if I want to have kids, I can't work and have kids and bring the money.
Yeah, of course.
You gotta bring the money home so we can build a family. Like, but yeah, I don't know. It's not much of an issue unless it becomes an issue, because I've always said that even if I made more, I don't expect to pay bills. I know that sounds a bit.
No. Listen, tough saying to you.
I don't pay bills. I won't do that.
I understand. I mean, I'm old school. I'm the kind of guy that, bro, the man goes out there, gets the fish, wife comes home, cooks, and we all eat.
Yeah.
That's my thing. I'm old school like that.
Yeah.
And then plus, unlike, well, to some extent, in my area, my parents was together. So I was very lucky in it. So I had that navigation of what like a family's supposed to be,
Like a
kind of thing.
nuclear household, yeah.
And I saw my dad wake up at certain times, go out, come home. So that's why it's embedded with me in it.
Right.
And that's why a lot of the kids around my area used to come to my house all the time to see what that life is like, isn't it? But at the same time, I know my dad did the thing on the side, innit? I know, like, well, he's a man, though, innit?
Yeah,
like,
well,
temptation,
right.
I know, innit?
Yeah.
But I just want to know, like, I love the Muslim culture, innit? Love it. But I personally don't agree with them having 3 wives, innit? Because you can't love each woman equally. That's just my opinion, innit?
I don't agree. And the reason why I say I don't agree is because men aren't naturally predatorial, and they're naturally like they naturally imply to have more than one partner, whether it's through cheating, whether it's there's always some sort of something there. Do you know what I'm saying? And the premise of having more than one wife Islamically is not just willy-nilly. It's not just you're a Muslim man, you can just have more than one wife. No. There needs to be a level of like Iman means faith, yeah. There needs to be a level of like academic Islamic faith that you need to have as a man. You need to treat everyone equally. That means if you buy me a car, you need to buy her a car. I need to buy her a car of this all the same value. Do you understand?
Yeah.
Like it takes a lot for a man to be polygamous and do it properly under like Islamic law or religious law or marital law. Does that make sense?
Just like, listen, it's 7 days in the week here. I don't see how a guy can spend equally time for each woman in that 7 days, innit?
Yeah, I hear it. I don't think it's a thing for... And also, there's another thing. When that passage came down, it wasn't for a regular time period. It was post-war and where there was less men and et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So everything that comes down has a time for it and has an applicability to it, if that makes sense. I think the issue is now is that we're in an era where anyone and everyone thinks they can just do what they want and they can apply scripture and all these things however they'd like to. But it puts out a signal to people that might not have read the scripture or don't understand the premise of it in like just in a negative light or in a light that's confusing. Do you know what I mean? But if we go and read and like understand the requirements of it, you'd be like, all right, cool, this makes sense. Because it's not just for anyone.
So could you be comfortable being like the third wife?
I could be the first.
Okay.
I could be the first and then you can go and do his thing.
But you wouldn't feel away with that.
Nah, you know, let me tell you something about me. Unless I'm like, I'll take it back. I could be the first if the man is wealthy. And I could only be in a polygamous marriage if he's wealthy. And the reason why I say that is because when you step into stuff like that and money is something that you still worry about, that's an issue. And I wouldn't want to, that's just a strain and it's just silly and it's just whatever. But if I was wealthy, yeah, because I'm someone that I want to build my home studio, like do my things at home. I don't want to step out and work, and I would like create my life. And
so you're happy with him having other women, yeah? Would you have another guy though?
No.
Okay.
That's dead. It's not being a woman. Like, just because what a man. This is another thing with this tic-tac-toe, toe-for-toe stuff. That's It's fair game. But if it's a thing where it's done behind your back, that's adultery, regardless.
Have you been heartbroken before?
Yeah. I would say, yeah, I have. And the reason why I'm reluctant to say yeah, the way that I did, is because I'm not naturally, but I've trained myself to be quite detached. So I process, I go through the mud, I give myself 24 hours and then I'm done. I'm like, cool. Because I'm not the type, I don't like to dwell on things at all. Like, I don't like to dwell on things. I don't like to sit and just be emotional and overthink. I think that stuff is, it affects your mental health and it really induces a lot of negative thoughts and emotions that you could have filtered through in that time period. So, yeah.
Before we go and break, one more question. Like, you said your celebrity crushes, yeah?
Yeah.
They're all black guys, which I'm happy for, yeah? But
Right.
you don't like white men?
I don't like white men.
Seriously?
No, I like ethnic men. Like,
okay.
Just someone of culture. It just so happened to be at the time and the era, these were the ones that were popping out. Do you understand? They were the ones that were popping or whatever.
There were some people that were white that actually like they were black though.
Yeah, but that's... When you're young, you're not thinking about all of that. You're just thinking you're cute, you can rap, you got like lingo, like the body is body. You're not thinking about all of that. Do you get me? Like,
but
yeah.
We're going to have a quick break right now. Yeah. Social medias, where can people find you at?
Official Miriam on Instagram, C.Conversations podcast on Instagram, and Conscious Conversation on YouTube.
Tipsy Talk, Wave Wednesdays, Champagne and Conversation, Banter Before Bed. Here we go. Cheers.
Your music, your beat, your soundtrack. TGM Radio UK. Are you a registered nurse, healthcare assistant, support worker, cleaner, catering assistant, or chef manager? Vast Solutions Limited is looking all around the UK for competent candidates. Contact us on 0203 488 6183 or via WhatsApp on 07553 764 427, or you can send your CV to info@vastsolutions.co.uk. Online 24/7. You found TGM Radio UK. Simply good music. UG club bangers, Afrobeats, R&B, hip hop, and ragga. This is TGM Radio UK.
Yo, what's going on, people? We're back right now, yeah. Tipsy Talk, Wavy Wednesday, champagne and conversation, banter before bed. I'm so tipsy right now, but very educational. Yep, very educational.
You're on a different wave right now. Oh my god.
No, because I'm thinking, okay, basically, yeah, there was a time period where my age group, like a lot of people converted to Muslim, isn't it?
Okay.
I don't know if you remember that time period, like everyone was converting.
When it was a hype, it was a trend to be Muslim off the back of like jail and all of that stuff. Yeah.
And obviously, I went Catholic schools, isn't it? So I was optimistic. So I was doing my research, isn't it? And I spoke to someone, isn't it? And he said, if you're going to do this properly, isn't it? And he told me, like, what he was telling me, like, Muslim is actually a strict religion, isn't it? Like, praying 5 times a day.
Was he Muslim?
Yeah, he was Muslim. Like, he was Muslim, praying 5 times.
Just need to adjust. After that first week, you're good.
But then I was working in McDonald's, so it was temptation. Like,
no. That's all right, cool. If you led to the fact that you were working in food, I would have given you some slack.
No, don't get me wrong. I love the Muslim culture. I think it's beautiful. It's peaceful. Everything like that. It's very peaceful. Isn't it? Like, you have to be very strong-minded to do it properly.
Yeah, it's discipline.
It's
a lot of discipline. Yeah.
Very, very disciplined.
Yeah.
But again, Muslim culture does get a lot of backlash in it, which I'm upset about that as well.
But you need to also be aware of, like, it's Muslim faith. Islam is not a culture.
Okay.
Culture isn't faith. Like, there's no Christian culture. There's a Christian faith and practices that come within that. And do you know what I mean? So, because a lot of people be like, oh, like the Muslim culture, but then they won't know what that means because.
Have you Mecca?
No.
Okay then.
I need to go, inshallah, when God invites me.
Okay then.
Yeah.
Because I used to do door-to-door sales, isn't it?
Okay, so there.
Is it?
I did that.
And it's charity, isn't it? Cool.
Oh, wow.
And I didn't know the Islamic household, they automatically have to give, isn't it?
Yeah, well, charity. Annually, you have to give 2.5 of your annual.
I didn't know
wage,
this.
Yeah.
And I was doing this during Eid, isn't it? And the amount of houses I was getting invited
Everyone is,
And I was thinking like, raw, like, you know me for a little bit, but not that much to invite me to your house like that, innit?
Right, yeah.
The amount of dates I was eating, yo.
Yeah, the suppliers were supplying.
Eid is lit.
It's lit.
I was like, yo, Eid is lit.
No, being Muslim is lit, period. But Eid, honey, we throw down. Do you get me?
And then one night during Eid, my friend, he took me to Southall.
Okay.
Oh my gosh. I'll be up to Circus when it's live, but Southall?
Right.
Oh my gosh. Yo.
Yeah, it's crazy.
I just don't know, what's like Algeria like during Eid, is it?
It's amazing. It's amazing. Like, I feel maybe I'm biased because I'm in love with my motherland. Like anything that I do over there is sensational. But Eid is lit. Like you wake up, I will either go to like my nan's house or go like there the night before and all gather there, or we'd host, just depending on who's there. Go to my nan's, whatever, wake up, like we'll have breakfast, like there's a traditional Eid song that Algerians have been playing on TV since like like the 40s and the 50s, like very old school song that comes on and we all sing along to it. And then we just chit chat, and then around like lunchtime, like it depends on what Eid is though, because there's two. That's
what I say, because as you know, Christmas is coming up for Christian people, isn't it? So I just wanted to break down what Eid is for, the moment we talk about how it starts.
So Eid is just a form of celebration or a form of festival. So Eid is a celebration off the back of a story or off the back of a purpose.
Okay.
So the first Eid that you have is the small Eid. They call it the small Eid because it's the Eid after Ramadan. The next day after Ramadan, when you eat and you break your fast, and it's a celebration of like the fact that we've made it through this month and that you've completed your commitment and whatever. Now we can eat. Now we can celebrate. Like on Eid, like you have to wear fresh clothes. You have to like be clean. Like these are like traditions and stuff that we have to do Islamically. And then Eid, the second Eid is around, they say it's 2 months and like 10 days normally after Ramadan, because Ramadan goes down 10 days every year. So it moves. So it's not like Christmas and stuff where we have a date. That's not how our calendar works. So the second Eid is off the back of an Islamic story, which is also in the Bible with Abraham and his sons Isaac and Ishmael. And we believe that there was a dream where basically God was telling telling the father that he had to slaughter his son, basically, as a test. And he kept dreaming it and dreaming it and dreaming it and dreaming it. And I'm really condensing this story.
Go on.
But long story short, his son had the dream the day that it was supposed to happen, and the son went to his father and was like, "It's okay," like da 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 da. And then in that moment, God brought down a lamb. So
Why lamb? Oh, you don't know. Oh, you can't.
I'm not gonna say I'm the most knowledgeable, so I can't really tell you the intricacies of why. There is a reason why. I just don't have the knowledge to give you. Do you get me?
That,
yeah, of course. But God brought down the lamb in its place as a sacrifice because it was a test of faith. So on Eid, the big Eid, Eid al-Kabir, or Eid al-Adha, whatever they want to call it, is the Eid of the sheep. So that's where, like, for example, back home, they'll slaughter the lamb, like they say the prayer, they slaughter the lamb. So that's what we would do. Like, the big Eid is the mess. You wake up early morns, do you get me? Like, there'll be a sheep in your garage, just chilling there the whole week. And then the men will come through, like my dad and my uncles and stuff, like, they'll like tie it, like the sheep together so it's not panicking and moving and running around and stuff. And then they'll read like the prayer over it and then just slit the neck. And then off the back of that, they drain it, and my aunt skins it, and like they clean it out. I'm there sweeping off the blood and. Now you're gonna go butchers and buy. Do you get me? Here we're just buying lamb. We just buy lamb here, but it's a sunnah. It's a blessed thing to do. It's something the Prophet did. Do you know what I mean? And it's the purpose of that Eid. Spend the whole time doing that, and then lunch is like, well, we all just sit and eat, and then everyone just like showers, and then like in the evening is when people proper celebrate. Like they'll have family over, like, and Eid is 3 days. So the second Eid.
So your 3 Christmases.
So say that again.
So your Christmas is like 3 days.
Kinda, yeah, but like, so the second one is. The first one is the standard, so the one after Ramadan is just to celebrate. The second one, because it's a prophetic story, this is a 3-day emphasis on it, 2 to 3 day emphasis on it.
Do you have to buy gifts each day or just one gift?
You don't have to buy gifts,
okay, then.
But it's highly it's like recommendations. Like, for example, like I said to you, you have to like be clean and this and that. Those are requirements. Like you have to bathe, you have to wear fresh clothes and like smell nice and be of hygiene that day. But yeah, it's just one of them ones. Like there's goodness in what you can do. It's not compulsory. But yeah, that's Eid. Eid is a vibe.
No, I know it's a vibe. I know it's a vibe. Things. And then there's things like people don't know. Again, I didn't know Jesus was actually in the Quran.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, I didn't know that at first, isn't it? Until I was educated. Yeah.
Of course. So Jesus is a prophet, Islamically, and the story of Jesus is almost the same. The only difference is the beginning of the story and also the perspective of the Son of God versus the Prophet of God, right? So Islamically, we believe that everything played out exactly as it was written, but we just believe that the person that was put on the cross wasn't Jesus, it was someone else, and Jesus was taken up because we believe he's the Messiah. So we don't believe that Jesus died. We believe that he was taken up and he will come back down. And we also believe that when he was born, he could speak. So we believe that every prophet had a miracle for their time, with like... everyone had their miracle, like with the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, it was literacy. With like Moses, it was magic and all these things, whatever. So the miracle of Jesus was that he could speak as a baby. And as a baby, he spoke and he said exactly what's going to happen, that this is going to be how my life happens. This is what some people are going to try to do to me. This is what people are going to take me for and misguide this message, etc., etc., etc. So we believe him as a messenger of God, and we believe that he is a Messiah. We don't believe that he's the son of God, because we don't believe that God has kids. Do you get it? We see God as a divine entity rather than a being.
As you know, right now there's a conflict going on in the Middle East, isn't it?
Yeah. I'm
not too knowledgeable about it.
Okay.
I just want you to break down just a little bit so we can summarize it just quickly in it. Like,
of course.
What's going on, please?
Yeah, okay, cool. Palestine, let's talk about it, because I went on a few podcasts a couple years ago. Palestine and Israel, that's been going on for years, almost 76 years now. That's
like the oldest war, isn't it? Right now,
it's the longest ongoing current war. If those of you that don't know, basically after the Holocaust, Europe wrote a treaty, specifically Britain, to gather the Jewish communities, and
the British have to be involved in it.
Of course, they're the ones that signed. They're the ones that signed them off. So in that treaty, there was Palestine, there was Kenya, there was Argentina, and there was another East African country. Cool.
Okay.
The Israeli representative brought in the scripture. So the political reason is that they don't have a land.
Okay.
Right, and they back it up with their scripture. They say in the Torah that because of their story of Abraham is different. So they believe that like they're the chosen people and they're promised the land. But because of their history, they were banished. So God banished them from ever having a specific land until they believe their Messiah comes. Yeah, and then their land will be given to them. That's in their Torah. That's their history. So they believe that, okay, cool, because they believe Palestine is going to be that land. They sign them off to there. And then what's been happening is basically Palestine originally handed over, I think it was like 20-something% of the land or whatever. And then over time, it became 45, and then it became 55, and then it became 60 and 70, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. It's very simple. It's very easy. People are being killed for being on a land that was given to them out of love, out of help, because you were kicked out of Europe. If you go back 6-7 generations of an Israeli, you find them in Hungary or in Czech or in other places in Europe. You go 10-12 generations of a Palestinian, they're still there. Right. So they've gone in, there's footage of, this has been going on for years. I grew that Palestine, and seeing that was why I went into film. So for me, growing up and seeing that and being aware of that, it's almost like this going on right now shouldn't be anything new. Like, we've seen this. Let's not act like it's not been around. And it was always very hush-hush. We don't speak about Palestine. We don't speak about Israel, because it's the Israeli community or people that are powerful in those communities who have power and money in music and entertainment and in media and et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So there's always been a select narrative. And the way the West has portrayed Arabs, period, to be, is to be barbaric, to be aggressive, to be like inhumane, to be whatever. They've already dehumanized these people in the Western world. And then you see all of these things happening, and it's like, okay, cool. So people are being dragged out their houses. Soldiers are killing off kids. The Gaza Strip is 55% or 60% under the ages of 10 or 12. Damn near all minors. Do you know what I'm saying? You're targeting younger generations. Why? There's videos of soldiers saying that like they want to kill off everybody and stop the seed from spreading. They want to there's a blueprint. It's not because of bloodline. It's because there was a video like recently. There was obviously these pictures circling around of the when they captured the men and stuff, and they stripped them down and they had them sat there, whatever, and it was a big thing. And one of the soldiers was like, they were like, oh, what do you want to do, like, when we're free, like, as Israelis, like, when we get this land or whatever? And they were like, oh, like, we're gonna, it's just disrespect. Like, there's videos of them, like, pissing on bodies, like, of kids that they've just, like, killed. And they're proudly doing these things. You go on TikTok and you go on these social media websites and you type in Israel or what's going on, and you see it, it's there. But then you go to the media, and the media is like, oh, well, they're defending themselves. But then there's a blueprint of the Gaza Strip that they've just bombed the hell out of. There's nothing there. And they've released a blueprint of like houses and buildings and shopping centres and stuff like that they plan to have there. So we want to talk about genocides. Let's talk about genocide. Like, we want to talk about killing people off and for the purpose of money or claiming things. You want to use religious scripture as an advantage because you're a minority. You're a strong, powerful minority. So, and people won't question your scripture because of that. So they use that. But politically, it's not that. And it's never been that. It's never been a faith thing. It's never going to be a faith thing. It's always been made to be a faith thing because it's easier that way. It's the Middle East. Like, whatever. Like, we go there. And also another thing, without Israel, America wouldn't have no access to oil over there. America funds 12 or 14% of Israel's military army and funding and weaponry, whatever. The UK government universities, they fund like their economy over there. Without Israel, there is no political access to oil or any like gold or anything over there. Why? Because the Arabs have their thing on lock. Do you get what I'm saying?
No, because again, I spoke to Ivan. I said to him, like, Ivan, like, America, there's so many places in America that need help in it, but they're giving money away to different countries, isn't it? I said, why are they doing this? And he said, basically just stacking favors, isn't it? Stacking favors
and also debt. These countries are in billions and billions and billions and billions of dollars of debt. So if they're out here, like, dashing their money to someone, that doesn't make sense. If you're in debt, why are you spreading your money out and giving out all these favors? But politically, if you're making ties and you're helping, you're exchanging arms, like, for example, like when Trump exchanged arms with Saudi, they threw him a parade. They threw him a parade with army tanks and all these things and But now Saudi's cushioning up with Russia and China, and they're trying to do their own little thing.
Yeah, they're trying to create their own like currency or something like that.
Their own, their own, like, you know how we have like United Nations and like they want to have their own little one, which is lit, because when all of that starts happening, the West is done for. What's like, the dollar has it won't have any value if it's taken from like the Arab world, if it's taken from places that are in like Europe and stuff that have other influences. If Russia comes in, China comes in, Saudi comes in, I think
Brazil
like,
or something.
Brazil,
Brazil.
Or one, like New Zealand, I think is with them as well. It's a wrap.
Do you remember Gaddafi?
Yeah.
Do you remember the conspiracy about the African currency?
Yeah, the one currency for.
Was that actually true then, or was that?
Yeah, of course it was.
Oh, okay then.
That's why they've killed him off. It's because he was openly, well, obviously allegedly. I'm not going to say that's why, but he was very open about stuff like that. Like,
so Africa had its own currency.
Had its own currency, and they were in the works of doing that. Like, it was something that was in. It wasn't just I'm out here saying this is what I aspire, this is what I want. No, like they were in the works of doing that, and then things went left.
So, what can we do as a culture to help the Islamic? Can we do anything to help, or we just leave it then, or what?
The best way to help is to be educated.
Okay.
That's all I say to people. I'm not someone that's going to be like, like we need to go out and, like it's good and well to protest and do all these things, but there's no point of doing that if you're not educated in what you're doing, like what you're protesting for. Like, I don't believe in showing face and just doing the no, I believe in like, be educated and spread that education, because the thing is with Palestine is that it's been going on for so long, and the education that we've been given has been all the way wrong for years. So now people are having to unlearn all this stuff about Palestinian people and Israel and whatever else is going on, and they're forming their opinions. And I think anyone, Muslim, non-Muslim, whatever, you're Arab, you're not Arab, whatever, like this isn't in the Quran. So in the Quran it says that Palestine will be occupied for 40 years by the Christians and 40 years by the Jews. Mm-hmm. That's 80 years. Mm-hmm. And Israel has been doing what it's been doing for 76 years or 4 years, however else it may be. So, and it's written at the end of that 80 years, there'll be a war, there'll be a battle between the Muslims and the people that are there. Mm-hmm. So the Jews and the Christians or whatever else it may be. After that, there will be peace. I think we're in a time, even without scripture, obviously I believe in scripture and I believe in faith, so I believe in these things are going to happen. But even if I didn't have that opinion, my thing is, look, we're in an era where everything is in your face. Mm-hmm. We're seeing it and nothing's happening. We're seeing videos of like bodies and babies and bombings and all these things and body parts and people crying and going through the worst of the worst. And we're sat here. And people are trying to, I just think, look, there are people in this world that will do whatever they want to do to get to where they want to be. And I think it's nice and good and well to be like, oh, a conversation can heal all. No. Some people, they will, again, going back to what my dad said to me, some people, they will never accept you unless you become like them. Mm-hmm. Do you get what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. Like, if you don't become like them, they won't accept you, they won't want you, they won't have anything to do with this. Personally, I think it's going to end up going into some sort of war. I think, Yemen stepped in. They're helping Palestine right now. They've locked off what's it called, for the ships and stuff to go by. So like any form of ship,
the docks and that.
Yeah, stuff like anything you get like through ships and stuff. Like they've cut all of that now, so they can't go around. Algeria's cut off the planes, so airwaves now you. can't
Algeria's involved as well.
Yeah, are you mad? We stepped in. We said 100 in cabinet. We stepped in. It took us time. I'm not gonna lie. It took us longer than I thought it would take.
Okay.
I think maybe like 40 days into the war, like after that month, because we're like a couple months.
Algeria's involved. So does that mean like Egypt or Morocco's involved, or?
Well, Morocco used to have an Israeli embassy, and they've closed it.
Okay.
Algeria is very anti-Israel. So like, if I went to Israel, or because Palestine only have the one airport in Tel Aviv. So it would be under Israel. So if I landed in Israel and they stamp it under an Israeli flag, I can get my nationality revoked because Algeria were not here for that. We're very anti. And if you look at Palestine in their history, the only two countries that stuck with them consistently was Algeria and South Africa. And then if you look at South African history, it's the same. It's Algeria and Palestine. And you look at Algeria, it's the same thing. So these three countries, we've all gone through apartheid, we've all gone through ethnic cleansing, and we've all gone through these things and have come out of them on our own. So we've stepped in because we can't get in physically on land because they're not going to let us, and Algeria's North Africa and Palestine's over there. But we sent over ships. There was a story that came out where someone in Algeria, he was a member of like the air armies, like he flies the planes. He filled up like a cargo plane with like food and stuff, and he just took it. He took it and he just landed in Palestine and gave it out. Like it was illegal, it was reckless, but he did it. Like we're like that though. When it comes to we have a saying in Algeria, we're the same blood. Do you get me? Like Palestinian South Africans, we're one in the same. We're the same blood. Like like you bleed how I bleed. Like we're brothers and sisters in this. So it touches us a bit more. We're a bit more sensitive to what's going on.
I'm gonna be honest with yourself. Like I can't really speak on everyone as a general, but I know some people from the black culture, we're not really too invested into it, isn't it?
Yeah,
Is there any way we can do some research or donate or anything like that?
Of course, there's always ways you can donate. If you Penny Appeal, I believe, are doing a charity for Sudan, Congo, and Palestine.
Okay.
And pray for the people, pray for the kids, because
100%, big facts, 100%. But again, I'm tilted right now. I want to divert a little bit because obviously,
talk to me.
Because again, as you know, there's so many podcasts out there, innit? But
plenty.
you have a podcast, innit?
I do, yeah.
So I just want to know what makes your
Oh dear God.
So I just want to know what makes your podcast different from everyone else's podcast.
I don't think the pod is different. I think I'm just different. I think I'm not.
Okay.
I'm not pod based.
So it's just you then, or
it's just me. I'm the only host, and it's me and my guest, and it's very guest oriented. I'm not a topic based podcast. I'm not just have to be like, we're going to debate and talk about this today. No, like my podcast is for real people, real stories. Anyone that has something to say that you're passionate about with substance, let's talk about it. You want to promote your business, let's talk about it. Like I came into podding off the back of film. I went into film wanting to help people and be a voice for people and da-da-da-da. And then you go into the industry and you realize, oh my God, you can't do that because there's censorship and there's boxes that you need to tick and all these things. And then by the time you're done, the story isn't as authentic. So instead of being a platform to tell people stories that weren't being told, let me just provide it. And instead of actually taking that story, let the person say it for themselves.
And everyone's got a story.
Right. So that's my show. It's called Conscious Conversations for a reason, you get me?
Where can people tune in and find it out then?
YouTube, Spotify. We've got visuals up on the channel, and then obviously audio.
Is
Spotify,
it weekly,
Apple.
monthly?
It's bi-weekly. We have taken a break, like I've said, and I will be back, fingers crossed, by the end of January.
Okay.
And it would be Tuesdays, 6 p.m.
Okay then.
Yeah.
Okay. What's the biggest thing that you've learned since podcasting
then? The biggest thing I've learned is take everything with a pinch of salt. And I don't necessarily mean that about the negative. and I mean that a lot more about the positive, is because a lot of people warn you how to deal with like being in the public eye and being judged and being in the industry and maybe how the industry works and et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. But you can be prepared for that. You can expect that. But the good as well, don't let that get to your head. Because this type of industry it's not... Everyone thinks they can do a podcast. Anyone can sit and have a conversation.
Big facts.
Anyone can sit and have a conversation.
Big facts.
Yeah?
Yep.
However, to conduct and consistently like do a podcast and
Substance.
produce and like to have consistent guests and like have that consistent hungriness and reach from your audience and like carrying those conversations. It's all good and well, like having 5, 6, 7 different guests and talking about the same thing. Like everyone's gonna get bored. Your clientele's gonna get bored. But if I've got 5, 6 different guests and one's about this and the other one's about that, and you're talking about all this, plan how like what you want from a podcast. I never went into a podcast saying I want a podcast. I went into it saying 10 years down the line or 8 years down the line, I'm gonna have my own daytime TV slot. I'm starting here. Let's have a podcast. And then when we get more budget, we could get a space and create it into a show. And then when we create it into a show, I'm already producing and directing and hosting and doing all these things. Now I can employ people and actually create a foundation and build something bigger. But the purpose has to be there.
Big facts.
And realistically, your purpose can be translated in any way. It doesn't have to just be through this path. So yeah, anyone and everyone can sit down, slap a camera on, have a conversation, have some banter, whatever. But it annoys me because the market is so oversaturated, and I'm like, half of you are just...
I don't mind that, you know, because my thing is like, as you know, it's oversaturated, but my thing is like, what do you get from this? Like, what do you learn from this, innit?
I know 100.
Anyone can look at their phone and read from a text message and start giggling with your friends, and anyone can do that, doesn't it?
Yeah.
But an intellectual conversation with someone, like, you understand what I'm saying? I like them. Those are the ones that I like, innit? Personally, isn't it?
Yeah.
Especially it's like two things, like, for example, like, I'm Caribbean, South American, you're Algerian.
Yeah.
So different.
Different backgrounds, different heritage.
Your female, I'm male, so different, isn't it?
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But
it's good, yeah. And that's the pod, basically. Like, come and we talk and we debate. We'll be laughing 1 minute. You might cry. 20 seconds later, it's a mess. You get me? You don't know. Like, I'm the type. Someone said to me, Mary, you can click at any point in your pod and you're going to get different emotions. And I'm like, that's the vibe. Like, just make sure you're here for the journey, honestly.
So in life, what's your end game? Like, what's your goal then?
My end game, my why, I want to help people, ultimately. And I want to do it all through a way that I can reach the most people. And that's why I went into film and being in the public eye and whatever. Is a lot more reach and opportunity and understanding. My end goal is to have multiple charities and to basically travel and help and document.
You talk about film a lot. Yeah, what's the last good film that you watched?
Ooh, the last good film that I watched. It's been a minute. The one that I can think of is a film called Peanut Butter Falcon, I believe. It's got Shia LaBeouf or LeBeau or however you say his name. I like films based on real life stories.
So do I.
Yeah, that's.
So do I. I don't know why. I just love them, innit?
So the storyline of this film is he lives in, like, you know, those Florida, like, in the middle of nowhere, swamp type of areas. And I believe his parents died. It's been a minute since I've watched the film. And he meets this boy, and this boy has Down syndrome. And the story is like him and the boy and like traveling and finding their way out. And the boy wanted to be a wrestler, and his name was Peanut Butter Falcon. And it just goes through the journey of all these. It's a really, really good film. Very good film. Very like real, emotional, raw, but also just it's lit. It's a good watch. That came out a while ago, though, I would say. Maybe a year, maybe 2.
No, the reason why I said it, because again, us, like, being from an urban background, like, we had Kidhood, innit? That was our film that represented us. I don't know, like, you could say to a certain extent, for the Indian culture, East is East was like their film, like.
Yeah.
You know
Yeah.
What's the Muslim film then? Or like a Algerian film that say that, bam, that represents us?
We don't have one.
That's what I'm saying to you, like, bro.
Because Algerian, you need to understand, North African representation is almost deemed separate as well, because I feel like Algeria is one of those countries that has never really been accepted. Morocco's been accepted. Egypt's been accepted. Yeah. Algeria's like, they don't. Some people don't even know where it is. Do you get what I'm saying?
That's what I'm saying. You lot are low, man. Like, you are low.
It's not about being low. Algeria does. We do our thing, just not here. That's what you need to understand. Go to France. Algerians are running the music industry.
So,
They've been running the music
you run any
industry.
scripts or anything like yourself then?
Yeah.
'Cause I don't mind. I'll be a drunk guy in the background. It might
Is
be
it?
around. It'll be
What?
around, but I don't mind. I'll take that flack in it. Like, right, it has to be
dead.
realistic in it.
I'm dead.
I don't mind that.
I'll
innit?
shout you. You could be a little extra.
I don't mind that. I'll just
Yeah.
move past a little bit.
Yeah, right. You're the dynamics that we need in the back. I love it.
Do you like Top Boy?
My personal opinion is I prefer Summer House
Okay.
overall as
Okay
a
then.
project rather than Top Boy. I
Okay.
think Top Boy was okay. I don't think it was bad. I think it was solid. I'd give it maybe like a 7.5 out of 10. I think there was a shift in storyline near the end of the last season.
Tell,
and
innit?
yeah, and you could tell 3, 4, 5 maybe episodes prior to the fact, because you could see he's getting more screen time and it's this and that and the other, and I think that's what let him down. I think if they kept with the traditional storyline and they kept with that relationship, the brotherhood, the this, the that and the other, it would have gotten a much better return, I feel like. But it was good. It was good. I kept up with it. I watched it. Yeah.
I got a lot of people that come on the show. They say like every time you watch the UK thing, it's all about the same thing: violence, drugs, gang related, kind of UK kind of thing. I just want to know, in terms of UK, what would you like to see as a film or even TV series?
I want to see more real stuff.
Okay.
I think, yes, we see a lot of gang violence, whatever, but I think it's just purely based off of the fact that we're at a stage where if we want to represent minorities or poverty or whatever, this is the automatic reaction. So when I say I want to see real stuff, I want to see real stories from people that started somewhere, started from nothing, came somewhere, or maybe started with everything and then ended up with nothing, and that are regular people. Like, you know, this is another thing with like presenting, going from being a director and doing all of that and screenwriting and whatever, and then going into presenting and having real conversations with people. And you meet people and they tell you their life story and you're like, that's insane. And you live down the road. Do you know what I mean? And this is everything you've gone through. I need the UK to stop glamorizing stupid foolishness. And
But that's the way the world, don't we all do that, innit?
yeah, but it's everyone should be responsible for their own. It's all good and well to be like the world, but
no, because sometimes, again, we all shame them. Like, look at social media and we just
Yeah.
look at a video and think, like, how is this going viral? Like, why did this go viral? Like, you know something? Like, how is this going? I don't understand, like, why is this going viral, innit?
people like foolishness.
I don't understand, like,
They
why it's going
foolishness.
viral. It don't make sense to me. Like, why is this viral? Why is it so popular? Why is this getting so much clicks and views? I don't understand it, innit?
Yeah, yes. It's a funny time that we live in, isn't it? It's just like,
You know, I would love for you to do, yeah. I would love to do a documentary, yeah, of, like, young Muslim women growing up in the UK.
okay,
Just interviewing just like what it's like growing up in the UK.
cool. I did a documentary around young Muslim women in the fashion industry. It was
Okay.
like female fashion designers when I was in uni, and that was a really good experience. You see and learn a lot.
Is it, yeah?
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, I used to model, so I've already kind of seen and learned a lot from that perspective. But from a designer's perspective, it was quite interesting. That's cool. I'll look into that.
Yeah, man.
Maybe, why not? Talk. But you know, the generation that we're in now, I don't know.
But you just never know. My thing is just
Let's
you just
see.
throw a thing on the wall and see what sticks in it.
It's true.
That's what
If
you
you
do.
don't try, you don't get.
Big facts.
Yeah.
Like you probably had guests on your show, like, you know, for like, bro, this person's not really interested, but it got views though, innit? Like, or, you know what
I
I'm
hear
saying?
you, yeah,
You just never
yeah.
know something. You just
I hear
never
you.
know it. Just never know it.
I hear you.
I'm
So,
just tipsy right now. I'm just rambling around.
I
now.
can tell. I'm like, you're a
But
clown.
that's what this shows. People, again, as I said last week, yeah, people think the show is the guests get drunk. No, it's me to get drunk.
Yeah. I love that for you, though. It's your show. It's your vibe.
I just know, what's the nicest thing someone's done for you?
Ooh, what's the nicest thing someone's done for me? My girl bought me a holiday ticket for we go on holiday for a birthday every year, and that particular year I wasn't in the best financial state, and
Okay.
she paid for my ticket and my stay, and that was the sweetest thing ever.
You're friends with her now?
Yeah, that's my
Good to
girl.
hear, yeah.
Yeah.
That's the ones you keep,
Solid.
innit?
Yeah, no, we don't do. My circle's like a dot. So,
Is it,
yeah?
Will you cut people off quickly like that?
I don't. Yes, I don't waste time.
Okay.
I don't like to. You know me, when I see weird stuff, sneaky stuff, I address it, and if I feel like I've addressed it and it's still not giving, it's my spirit is still disturbed, you're gone, because at least I've addressed it.
As you know, the popular thing about these days is like mental health. Have you ever been in a dark place yourself then?
Yeah, of course. I've when I was 14, I was diagnosed with PTSD and anxiety. I struggle with like insomnia off the back of that. I've been in and out of depression, standard mental health. I think processes that we go through nowadays. I feel like our generation, everyone's got some form of trauma or some form of like labeling to their mental health. And because I've gone through a lot, is why I come out of it thinking, that's dead. Like, not to go through it, not the experience, but the labeling of it all.
But I'm confused. Like me going, I'll be like, bro, okay, this girl, she's got the looks, she's got the family, she's got the friends. Like, why? What's wrong with you? Like, why are you in the dark space? Like, you got your circle.
Because it's not as black and white, and I'm not to say that it's an internal thing, but people go through stuff. Like my PTSD had nothing to do with my family. It was off the back of me seeing something out and about. Do you know what I mean? At a young age, wrong environment, wrong people, things go left. You see things. Like I don't think things start at home, but I don't think that everything is from the home. I think what starts at home can give you the tools to deal with what you go through, whether it's internal or external. So with me, my external trauma I wasn't prepared or equipped to deal with that because of how my household was set up at the time. Do you see what I'm saying? And then that led to the PTSD and the whatever. But I still have anxiety. I still get super anxious. I still get like I get shaky. Like I will sit and yeah. But I don't pay it no mind. I really believe in the power of like what you put your energy into is what will happen. And I believe because I believe in people, there's people that will talk about being sick or being this or being that, and then they're sick. They make themselves sick.
Manifestation. Yeah.
Right, it's like
a
form of manifestation.
Yeah,
Do you see what I'm saying? I believe in that, and I believe in that with mental health, especially because mental health is a fragile thing, and it's an encompassing thing, and it's something that is very easily transformative if you want it to be. And yeah, I just think, I don't know. I've gone through it. I've gone through the mud. I've come out of it. And I'm grateful that I've come out of it. I've come out of it on my own. I think one thing I would say is don't make your mental state your identity. A lot of people are out here claiming anxiety and all these things as an identity and like running with that. Don't do that. You're going to entrap yourself. And then it's just...
I'm glad you're here, because obviously as you're female,
Talk to me.
Yeah.
Talk to me.
As you know, us people as a culture, we love celebrities, innit?
Okay.
And as you know, a lot of celebrities
No, and I'm watching them for like 10 years, like live their life, or like, what do you mean? Like a month later, I'd be like, what? Let alone 10 years.
Yeah,
like,
but again, that's what I want you as a female, because I want your perspective from it.
yeah.
But again, I'm so tipsy.
So, you want some water?
No.
I'm dead.
I just know, what's your red flags then, innit?
What, in relationships?
Yeah.
Inconsistency.
Okay.
And I mean that in lifestyle.
Yeah.
Not necessarily with me. Someone that is doesn't know how to talk to people, as in you're rude, you have no manners, stuff like that. Red flag, you don't believe in God, or you're not God-fearing. That's important to me.
So someone's atheist?
No.
Okay.
Yeah,
I'm curious.
what?
No, because again, some people might use that word, the spiritual.
That one's even, listen, that one is even a whole nother topic, child. No, I need God to be in your life. Okay. Like I said, someone that lacks ambition, someone that doesn't have like good manners, is rude. I'm a very easy person. I'm a simple woman. I don't need the most. I just like someone that is clean-hearted, hardworking, and wants to better their lives.
But some can say this, okay, cool, you're this Muslim woman here, but you're listening to hip-hop music, which is haram.
Okay, but what does that... You know, people hit me with that, yeah? I love it. Yes. So, because I did this one time, actually, I went on a platform, I was on a podcast, and we were wrapping up, and we were having this conversation. They were like, oh, but like, you know, you're Muslim, but you just spoke about X, Y, and Z. And I was like, okay. I was like, but you're Christian, and you're here with your man. I'm sure you've had sex. That's a sin. So my thing is like, don't come and judge me about a faith that you're not a part of. If you're not even keeping up to par with your own faith. Because I don't go and do that to Christians. I don't go, oh, you're Christian, you shouldn't be drinking. Because the Bible says to be drunk and not drunken. So, like, you can drink, but you shouldn't be drunk. So I could throw it. Because me, I'm educated. I've read the Bible, I've read the Torah, I've read the Quran.
Is it?
Yeah, because I chose to be Muslim, ultimately. Like, regards to being born into faith, I don't just follow to follow. I study. So... And this is also a good reason why. And I just say to people, listen, I'm a person. God, you don't even know my faith. You don't know how God is going to judge me.
Big facts.
You don't know. You don't know what a sin is based on in my faith.
Oh, yeah. There's that place in Central.
Oh, gosh. What place is Central?
Preacher Corner.
Oh, Speaker's Corner.
That's
in
it.
Hyde Park.
Yeah. Have you been there before?
Nah, I think I've not gone there for that purpose. I might have like gone by it and stuff.
Okay.
But I watch a couple of them.
Oh, you watch it, yeah? Okay.
I used to watch a couple of them, man. It's quite interesting.
Because obviously, like, I was with a girl and we just had the picnic in it. We were just walking in it.
I'm dead. What Speaker's Corner?
Yo, the way I got trapped, yeah.
For real.
But I like to listen. I would listen to anyone in it. Like,
okay.
I would listen. Even the drunk guy, I would always listen to a drunk guy because you just never known it. But these guys, they're passionate. For you to go to a park, yeah, non-paid, yeah. Non-paid. And to talk for that hours.
But you see that, you know, Speaker's Corner has been a tradition from time and time and time. And this is not...
How long?
From like the 80s or 90s.
I didn't know that at all, innit?
If you go and Google Speaker's
Corner... I thought this was recent, like, bro. People just angry, upset.
It's because of social media. Now, you're seeing it. You're seeing what you're thinking. This has been going on. Speaker's Corner's been around from when my parents touched down in this country.
Okay.
Like, and it's not always been a very Muslim thing, obviously, over time. The mosque local and the area. But it's always been a place of intellect. There's a historical history where... look at me. There's a history where basically it's a place where people come and debate, people of knowledge. So different people of faiths and philosophers and stuff like that, and academics, and then it became what it is now.
Okay.
But yeah, that's a...
Because I'm thinking, like, just get the mic out there, just do my little podcast out there, just leave it there.
You're right, and just sit there. You don't even need to do anything. Just clip people with a little mic. Honestly.
Oh,
gosh.
No, there's one thing I was going to ask. I'm so tipsy right now.
Trailer thought gone.
No, I'm stressed out because it's the last thing I was going to ask.
Oh, no.
I'm so tipsy right now.
It's all right.
Set your socials out. Where can people find you at your socials in
there? Official Miriam on Instagram, C.Conversations podcast on Instagram, Conscious Conversations on YouTube and Spotify, Apple, all of that. Yeah. It's _Miriam on Twitter if you want to see me come and just comment stuff.
And the podcast next year.
Yes, sir. We're coming back. Yes, sir. The podcast is coming back, but it's coming back with elevation. It's not going to be the same. It's going to be better. There's a lot of things happening. I didn't just take a break with no purpose. There's purpose behind everything that we do. So stay tuned. It's going to be a vibe.
Tipsy Talk, Wave Wednesday, champagne and conversation, back before bed. Here we go. Cheers.